But the formal vote that created Christ Church, at that point still a church without a name, was November 5th, 1955. Like many of the most important developments in church history, it was led by our young people. Can we hear it for our young people? Our young people in 1955 were saying, hey, we've been in the same youth group for years. We know each other. We're best friends. We go to school together. Why don't we just kind of do this then? And between the young people and the visionary leadership of the congregation, they were able to persuade even the most reluctant folks in the two prior congregations to say yes.
I want to be a part of this church, and I want to be a part of making decisions and connecting with other people. And the best thing about Christ United Methodist Church is the Sunday school class.
I want to make my vows to become a better Christian and practice love God and love everyone. And my best thing at Christ Church was the egg hunt, because I helped with the community.
Most of the people that went to this church walked to church, and they lived on that side. They lived on the other side of the tracks. In other words, and a lot of the kids that went to that church lived on the other side of the tracks because their parents didn't want them crossing the railroad tracks to go to church.
And my favorite thing about our church is people, because they are really nice and they will accept you no matter how you're feeling.
The story of Deuteronomy reminds us we were once oppressed aliens in Egypt, and now that God has brought us into the land and given us a home in this land flowing with milk and honey, we must not oppress the aliens among us. In fact, we need to go further in our faithfulness, not simply to not oppress them. We actually tithe to support the alien. That's part of the rehearsal of this story, the giving of the tithe to the alien, the widow, and the orphan. The story in the Gospels reminds us that we are loved deeply and perfectly despite our sin and our other imperfections. And as those who are loved and forgiven, we are called to love others, even our enemies, and to forgive others, even those who hurt us most, and to welcome others, even those who make us uncomfortable. And we forget sometimes that we all started as outsiders.
And the last service that they had in the church and everything, there was people, actually grown-up people crying and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to leave their little church and everything else that they loved. And the stained glass windows, they might have been in honor of a relative, or who was killed in the war, or their parents, or even a baby that died. So that was hard for people to leave this church. And I'm sure this church too, but we did it. A lot of people hate changes. Some people love them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could take it or leave it. It doesn't matter to me. But a lot of people hate change. They hate change. If you go to church and anything like that, they see something that's not out of the ordinary. Oh man, blah, rah, rah, rah. They hate that. But it doesn't matter to me. Change is good.